Now on Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, the White House says House Republicans will not be provided with visitor logs requested from the president's Delaware estate. And as we honored Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy yesterday, his youngest daughter is calling leaders and politicians to celebrate the lessons her father taught all year round. Plus, Marvel star Jeremy Renner says he's home from the hospital after his snowplow accident on New Year's Day.
And socked in with fog this morning, most areas, there's zero visibility. Here's an example right here, Cuero ISD, and looking at the Cuero WeatherBug camera. And you can't see much on the outside out there, and that's the case in most areas. Fog advisory till 9 a.m. officially. We'll take a look at your forecast coming up.
The Dallas Cowboys are moving on. Who's next? Find out coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain. Today is the 17th day of January 2023. The time is now 6:31 on your Tuesday morning, and today is Hot Buttered Rum Day. Let's go ahead and turn to First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Trey Mining. Trey, I would ask how it's looking out there, but I can't see a thing.
64 degrees on the outside, west southwesterly winds near 5 miles per hour. Dew points in the mid 60s are definitely meeting that dew point, and temperature ratio, that's why the fog is appearing, it becomes visible at that point, and it's continuing to be a morning filled with fog, one of the ways to say it, throughout the entire region from Gonzales County all the way down the coast. You have a fog advisory till 9 a.m. So be careful out there. You know what you need to do. We'll remind you yet again, the low headlight beams, please, and also your reduced speeds. What you need to make sure that you arrive safely at your destination. Better yet, wait till after about 9 o'clock or so when the visibility is improved before doing any outdoor driving, of course. Looking at the future visibility, we'll keep it at zero visibilities all along US 59 from Beeville to Goliad to Victoria, Edna Inez area, Ganado, El Campo, Louise to Wharton, and points to the northeast from there, Houston Metro. And we'll run the fog model through the rest of the morning time, beginning to subside and evaporate on out by 10 a.m. Could have some fog more than likely along the immediate coast, starting off in the late afternoon, moving its way inland throughout the day on your Wednesday. But a front will move through about 1 o'clock or so, roughly around that time period, which will push all the fog out in the Gulf of Mexico, any that's remaining, and give us some good rain chances too, especially along and ahead of the frontal boundary. That's definitely something we need, and maybe more rain chances later on the week after you get through your Wednesday. What about that? And cooler temperatures. We've got a lot to cover. We'll take a look at that later on in detail in the full forecast to come. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. The fallout continues over President Biden's classified documents that were found at his home. The White House and U.S. Secret Service say they do not maintain visitor logs for President Biden's personal home in Delaware. That's a day after a top House Republican called for their release. House Oversight Committee Chairman Republican James Comer sent a letter to the White House asking for the visitor logs, just as the Justice Department and House Republicans investigate Biden's handling of classified documents from his time in the Obama administration. The White House acknowledged on Saturday that more pages with classified markings were discovered at Biden's home than had been previously disclosed. Comer says the log is needed because of serious national security implications. But the White House says, like other presidents, Biden's personal residence is personal. The Secret Service says it also does not maintain a visitor log because it's a private residence. We now turn north of Vanderbilt to County Road 312. Authorities say a home became engulfed in flames after a grass fire in the backyard of the residence quickly spread. Firefighters responded to the scene. The fire was declared extinguished just after 4:45 p.m. yesterday, but a flare-up sent Vanderbilt Fire Department back out to check on the incident. The flare-up was under control just after 6:30 p.m. Fire crews were then released to return service. New this morning, just west of Edna, only minor injuries reported after a crash Sunday on Highway 59 at Sklar Overpass. The crash shut down southbound lanes of the highway, diverting traffic onto the feeder road. First reports of the crash came in around 11:30 p.m. The scene was cleared and roadways were back operational just before 1. Authorities say 2 vehicles are damaged, but all occupants are okay. We now turn to the Southwest, where a fight over water is underway near Scottsdale, Arizona. The city has cut off the water supply to a nearby community as it tries to conserve its own supply, forcing residents to take matters into their own hands.
This morning, residents in Arizona's Rio Verde foothills getting creative.
I'm happy I have a pool because every time it rains, at least I can siphon that.
Finding ways to save and reuse water as the community sees an unprecedented drought.
We use it mostly for showering, for, washing clothes, the bathrooms.
On January 1st, the nearby city of Scottsdale banned private companies from buying water at fill stations and transporting it outside of the city, leaving nearly 1,000 people in Rio Verde, an unincorporated suburb, without the water source they've relied on. Scottsdale blames what it calls Rio Verde's unlimited and unregulated growth, saying in part, Scottsdale has warned and advised that it is not responsible for Rio Verde for many years, especially given the requirements of the city's mandated drought plan. And while residents can buy water elsewhere, it'll cost them. Some companies now raising the price from 5 cents per gallon to nearly double that amount.
Huge increase in time it takes to deliver the water to the customers out here, the manpower it takes, just the wear and tear.
Circle of Blue, which investigates water scarcity, warns a worst-case scenario for Arizona could make Phoenix one of the most uninhabitable places in the world by 2060. Residents statewide have been stepping up, some avoiding raking leaves up to keep the ground wet and using garden pavers to direct water into their plants and trees,
so that the water trickles down and gets to the roots.
Others opting for toilets with sinks above them and taking showers outside and collecting the runoff.
Water conservation is vital. We live in the middle of the desert.
The city of Tucson is even paying residents to take water conservation classes. Meantime, back in Rio Verde, the community has filed a preliminary injunction against Scottsdale over its water cutoff. Scottsdale says it's confident it's on the right side of the law. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
America has honored Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy with a federal holiday for decades. But on Monday, his youngest daughter called for year-round action. Reverend Bernice King says leaders too often cheapen her father's legacy with words and have not acted on the lessons that he taught. King says leaders, especially politicians, need to live King 365 days of the year. She made those comments at a commemorative service at Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, where her father once preached. Actor Jeremy Renner is home from the hospital after his snowplow accident. The Marvel star was hurt on New Year's Day while clearing snow from the driveway at his Nevada home. The 911 call log reports Renner's upper torso was crushed by a snowcat vehicle. He underwent 2 surgeries and is continuing to recover. The mayor of Kingstown Star replied to a Twitter post from the show late Monday night saying, quote, "Outside my brain fog in recovery, I was very excited to watch episode 201 with my family at home." Season 2 of the show premiered Sunday. All right, get your cell phone and scan this QR code. It's our quick response code to download the Crossroads Today app. You can get breaking news alerts, vote in our viewer poll, get the latest news, weather, and sports, and learn all about our ongoing contest right there on the app. Submit those news tips and photos. The time is now 6:39 on your Tuesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. The Old Landmark Committee hosted the Walk for Freedom to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Investigators are calling acts of targeted political violence in New Mexico. I'm ABC's Jay O'Brien, the failed GOP candidate under arrest, accused of targeting Democrats. Coming up.
And looking at temperatures near 70 degrees along the coast, mid-60s in Victoria, and 50s and even a few 40s way up there in Gonzales. Cooler air up to the north. And that cooler air makes its way southward coming up tomorrow. Until then, fog advisory till 9 a.m. Be careful driving out there. Full forecast comes up.
I'm John Zochik with Prosperity Bank. We can help you realize your family's dream with the Prosperity Mortgage for that new home or to refinance your current home. We're committed to our customers today and into the future. That's our Prosperity Bank promise.
If you think about it, hash browns are the French fries of breakfast.
Who says it's not French fries that are the hash browns of lunch and dinner?
That's also true.
There's always something to talk about when it comes to McDonald's breakfast. Right now, get a sausage biscuit and hash browns or a McChicken biscuit and hash browns for $2. Only at McDonald's.
If you're looking for assistance with an IRA, 401k, or other qualified retirement plans, we can help. I'm Dean Tice, president of Prosperity Trust. You can put your trust in us.
Prosperity Bank, where you find real bankers, not just a bank.
And good morning, good morning. Let's review the fog advisory. Still in effect, and it will be until 9 a.m. this morning. For visibility is at 0 for a lot of locations around the Crossroads region. So just a reminder about that. And looking at the zero visibilities currently from Goliad to Beeville to Victoria, Edna Inez and Wharton Ocampo, and even along the coast, Port O'Connor over to Bay City. And this reduced visibilities and fog will be lasting through about 10 a.m. or so at the latest. Maybe fog along the coast, working its way inland by the time we get to early morning hours for your Wednesday. But it'll be all pushed out and with an increasing rain chance, and especially with the front moves through on your Wednesday or so. And temperatures, of course, I just looked at that, cooler to the north, and will remain so throughout the next several days. Get closer to the coast, the warmer air will be in our region. And 5 to 10 mile per hour winds for the majority of the day today, much reduced than we have been seeing. That's one of the reasons the fog is so thick. And there's the front moving on through. You kind of see a hint of it with northerly winds taking hold after that. And then clearing conditions. But the rain chances will be back. We'll take a look at that later on in the full forecast. We'll talk about tomorrow's rain chances and the rain chances for the weekend and cooler air too a little bit later on. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. A top quarterback prospect may be coming to the Texans, and the Cowboys take down Tom Brady and the Bucs. Weekend sports anchor Zach Brown has more in sports.
Big news in the college world and perhaps for Texans fans as well. Quarterback C.J. Stroud has officially declared for the NFL draft. The Texans almost certainly will be taking a quarterback. C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are thought to be the top quarterback prospects, with the Texans holding the second pick. The Dallas Cowboys overcame their Goliath last night versus Tom Brady. Midway through the first quarter, it's Dak Prescott finding Schultz in the end zone. But this play right here, arguably the biggest play in the game, picking off Tom Brady in the back of the end zone. Later on, it would be Dak Prescott faking the handoff for an easy 1-yard scamper into the end zone. But how about this? The Cowboys' first 4 touchdowns. All 4 extra points were missed, so despite the 4 scores, it would remain a 3-possession game. It wouldn't matter much. But in the 4th and 4, the Cowboys opting to leave the kicker on the sideline, and Dak Prescott would find Oklahoma Sooner great CD for the TD. Dallas wins 31-14 and will get Brock Purdy and the 49ers next week. Tom Brady is also a free agent this offseason. With your 25 Sports Now, I'm Zach Brown.
We want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and on your cell phone. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. This morning, police in New Mexico have arrested a former Republican state legislator candidate for allegedly directing a series of drive-by shootings targeting the homes of Democratic lawmakers. One state senator saying a bullet passed through the bedroom of her 10-year-old daughter. Authorities believe the suspect was angry over his recent election loss.
This morning, a failed Republican candidate in New Mexico now under arrest and accused of directing a series of drive-by shootings targeting the homes of Democratic lawmakers. Albuquerque police describe Solomon Pena as the mastermind behind the attacks, targeting 4 different Democratic officials. Pena accused of hiring 4 other men to help carry out the shootings, allegedly paying someone in cash for at least 2. But in one case, police accuse Pena of joining the attackers at the home of State Senator Linda Lopez, who says a bullet passed through her 10-year-old daughter's bedroom.
On the last shooting, we now have evidence, too, that Pena himself went on this shooting and actually pulled the trigger on at least one of the firearms that was used.
Officials say Pena was angry over his defeat in a state legislature race in November. Pena lost in a landslide a day after tweeting, "I dissent. I am the MAGA king."
At the end of the day, this was about a right-wing radical, an election denier who was arrested today, and someone who did the worst imaginable thing you can do when you have a political disagreement, which is turn that to violence. That should never be the case. Differences of fundamentals in democracy are going to happen.
No one was injured in this series of shootings, but Homeland Security officials continue to warn against the rise in political violence in this country, including threats against election workers and even that attack on former Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
The Old Landmark Committee hosted the Walk for Freedom to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Around 150 people gathered at MLK Park and marched to Greater Mount Calvary on Callis Street. The walk made its return this year after the pandemic hit the area hard for the past few years. Joyce Ellis Young was overjoyed to see people show up since the hiatus hindered the event for so long.
I was overwhelmed. I busted out crying and I couldn't stop, because when you put out a flyer and we're trying to do an event we haven't done for 3 years, and to see us change the location of the event and to see so many people show up, it was just overwhelming. It was a blessing.
MLK's legacy lives on through the hearts of people who want to see a better world. The Old Landmark Committee continues to work on more events that will be coming soon. The Walk for Freedom was only the beginning. In 1963, King said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that." The committee fights to be the light. It's great to see the return of such a beautiful tradition, an important one too, leading us to your viewer poll. Did you attend an MLK celebration? All right, let's take a look. 7% of you say yes, and 93% of you say no. We want to keep hearing from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote. You can also scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. The time is now 6:47 on your Tuesday morning. Still to come, a global study shows women who contract COVID-19 during pregnancy are at more of a risk of developing health complications.
Do you have pain, numbness, or burning in your hands or feet?
I got my flexibility back. Pain is gone.
Prickling pain often caused by peripheral neuropathy?
The Zappo feeling has gone away and there's no pain.
Are you suffering from chronic knee pain and stiffness? Or have you been told that knee surgery is your only option?
Now that I've had this treatment and I can walk a little bit, I feel like I got my life back.
Call Neurogenics now. Our physician-run medical offices in Victoria are helping our Texas patients move on from their chronic knee pain and their pain and numbness from peripheral neuropathy without surgery and without medications. Our treatments are covered by Medicare and most insurance.
You can move around, you can go back to what you used to do.
To get relief just for my toes, it makes me feel like $1 million.
Call Neurogenics now. Our unique non-drug, non-surgical, and non-chiropractic treatment program is helping our Texas patients end their chronic knee pain and peripheral neuropathy pain. Call us now. Neurogenics is standing by to help you move on from the pain.
In this morning's GMA First Look, a Marine veteran stepping in to save a stolen pet Yorkie being held for ransom.
If one of my dogs was missing and someone sent me a video of them in a cage, I don't even know how I would react.
Raquel Witherspoon's Yorkie, Avery, was taken from her front yard.
He's a family member. He's my grandson, and that's her son. And we had him for 3 years. He means the world to us.
Richard McAmer says the intelligence training he learned as a Marine helped him track down the dog nappers and the pup.
It's just understanding, what information you have and how you could possibly use that information to, get more valuable information. Just where to go looking for it is really the key.
And coming up at 7 a.m., with dog thefts on the rise, what you can do to keep your furry friend safe. With your GMA First Look, I'm Eva Pilgrim, ABC News, New York.
Struggling with the highs and lows of bipolar 1? Ask about Vraylar. Because you are greater than your bipolar 1. And you can help take control of your symptoms with Vraylar. some medicines only treat the lows or highs. Vraylar treats depressive, acute manic, and mixed episodes of bipolar 1 in adults. Proven full-spectrum relief for all bipolar 1 symptoms. And in Vraylar clinical studies, most saw no substantial impact on weight. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Call your doctor about unusual changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, which may mean a life-threatening reaction, or uncontrollable muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, and high cholesterol may occur. Movement dysfunction and restlessness are common side effects. Sleepiness and stomach issues are also common. Side effects may not appear for several weeks. Ask about Vraylar and learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Good morning. Trey Mining here for your Tuesday. And foggy conditions on the outside, still near zero visibilities in most areas. Remember the fog advisory till 9 a.m. officially. And then we'll have temperatures in the 60s by mid-morning. 70s by the afternoon, near 80 degrees by 4 or 5 o'clock, be the heat of the day. And a few rain showers coming in our forecast area tonight and in the overnight. And seeing the cold front coming through in your Wednesday, better rain chances along ahead of the front. So foggy conditions this morning, as you see, all the way through to about the 9 a.m. time frame. And maybe a few rain showers coming in by the overnight tonight. Better rain chances for your Wednesday, you see right there, really getting more numerous around the 8 a.m. hour and pushing out in the Gulf of Mexico gradually by the afternoon time. Then we'll see some clearing after that. And then cooler temperatures to come by the time we get to Thursday, and especially by the weekend. So today, right quick, 80-degree temperature for the daytime high. Overnight lows will be near 65 degrees, and highs tomorrow near 80 degrees with rain chances, 50% chances. And then notice as we go through the 7-day right quick, look at the temperatures cooler by the weekend.
A global study shows women who contract COVID-19 during pregnancy are more at risk of developing health complications than pregnant women not infected with the virus. The study analyzed data from multiple countries, including the U.S., but research was done early in the pandemic before most people were vaccinated or infected. Results are sobering. The study found pregnant women who had COVID-19 were nearly 4 times more likely to get admitted to an intensive care unit, more than 15 times more likely to need ventilation, and 7 times more likely to die, and had a higher risk of developing preeclampsia, serious blood clots, and hypertension. The research also shows pregnant women with COVID had a higher risk of delivering their baby early or having a baby with a low birth weight. The study is published in the journal BMJ Global Health. Still to come on Sunrise News to know before you go. Residents of the South Pressure Plain area of Victoria no longer under a boil water notice.
No one thought he would run. A computer salesman was supposed to report to prison to begin a 17-year sentence.
How do you evade capture for 25 years?
Now, join the global manhunt. Have you seen this man? Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Ready for a little GMA-ish promo? Okay, here we go. GMA 7A every day with Robin, George, and Michael. That's how you say
Good morning, America.
Like I said, GMA is my go-to.
Yep, bring your friends.
Special Agent Will Trent.
He's good police.
I bet I can solve this tonight.
I'm sorry, you made a bet?
So an opportunity to make a little cash. My stock just went way up.
You're the best.
Will can see things no one else does. Illuminating.
Oh, I know.
Boom.
Are you ready to stop letting big business take your customers away? Phase 3 Digital is your #1 digital marketing resource to keep your customers shopping with you. With an office right here in the Crossroads and a team of support across the nation, we can help you wherever your business is in the online journey. From building a site to developing e-commerce capabilities to growing your customer base, we will drive results. It is time to take the next step in growing your business with Phase 3 Digital. Are you ready to take your customers back? Give us a call or visit us online to get started.
And now for today's question of the day. Name some good mentors you have had in your life. Okay, Shannon is saying Rose Scanlon, a high school teacher. That's excellent. Stacy says her husband Rick, but also her parents and her in-laws. Janet says, my great-grandparents, grandparents, Aunt Cookie, and Uncle Steve. She also says, good morning, Carolina and Trey. Thank you, Janet. Merritt says, my 2 uncles. Beth says, my grandmother. Arlo says, Joe. Mary Helen says, my beautiful mom, my grandmother, and all my aunts, Corinne, Rhonda, and Cheryl. And Melanie says, my grandmother. There are several mentors in my own life, but the one that comes top of mind is Miss Madge Crumpler, who passed away a few years ago, but she was my high school journalism teacher and newspaper advisor. She made a big difference in my life. Thank you so much for answering today's question of the day. Residents of the South Pressure Plain area of Victoria are no longer under a boil water notice. That's after test results confirm the water is clean after that major water break on January 14th. The notice was issued for the area after a sudden loss of water caused water pressure to drop. The notice was issued out of an abundance of caution. 8 people were shot and hurt at a car show event in Fort Pierce, Florida on Monday night. Authorities say shots rang out at Lewis Ellis Park just after 5 p.m. as the streets on lock car and bike show came to an end. Initial reports indicate the shooting stemmed from a disagreement between 2 parties. Authorities say deputies treated several people at the park while others were driven to a nearby hospital by fellow attendees. 8 people suffered gunshot wounds and 1 person is in critical condition. Additionally, 4 other people were hurt while fleeing the scene. Officials say there are no suspects at this time, but deputies are pursuing several leads. President Biden travels to Central California Thursday to visit areas devastated by recent storms. A statement from the White House says the president will visit with first responders and state and local leaders. He will survey recovery efforts and determine how much additional federal support is needed. This is the Lexington Reservoir in Santa Clara County. It's more than 100% full for the first time in nearly 4 years. Since late December, multiple storms have dumped rain and snow across the state, washing out roads, bridges, and destroying homes and other structures and triggering landslides. A World War II era structure slid off a cliff onto the beach in San Francisco on Monday. This happened at Fort Funston. The Golden Gate National Recreation Area says the structure went down the cliff after a rain-soaked bluff gave way. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Visitors are urged to follow posted trail signs and be attentive to their surroundings, as well as exercise caution around post-storm saturated hillsides and coastal bluffs. Victoria County Commissioners will meet today at 10 a.m. at the Victoria County Courthouse. We have some items from the agenda. Commissioners will consider approval of a proposal and agreement with TK Elevator Corporation for improvements to the 1967 courthouse elevator. Commissioners will also consider approval of a request for a road closure from the Bloomington Volunteer Fire Department. If you cannot attend Commissioners Court today in person, the meeting is available via Zoom. Let's go ahead and turn to First One Storm Team meteorologist Trey Mining.
A quick look at your forecast. 80 degrees today. Morning fog and fog advisory lifting by 9 a.m. A few scattered rain showers in the overnight tonight. Lows near 65 degrees. And better rain chances for your day on Wednesday. Carry the umbrella. 60% chance and some sun by the afternoon, though. And looking like cooler temperatures will finally take hold for Thursday, lasting through the weekend, even cooler yet by the weekend, with highs in the low to mid-60s by Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Better rain chance on Saturday. First things first, remember the fog advisory till 9 a.m. Zero visibility is currently in most of the Crossroads region. Be careful out there, Carolina.
Thank you, Trey, and thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Come to crossroadstoday.com for more local news, weather, and sports, and join us tonight for 25 News 5, 6, and 10.